Hi Dollar Divas, welcome back to my channel. So I recently did a full face of the cheapest makeup I could find at my local drugstore, my local CVS. And I thought it would be fun to do a side-by-side of that makeup and the other side being a full face of comparable Dollar Tree products. So when I did that video, I think with all my coupons and all that kind of stuff, which should have been $50 worth of makeup, actually ended up being about $36. And so I had established the fact that it's still, even at $36, cost twice the price of what a full face of Dollar Tree would have cost, roughly. So thought this would be fun. I've got some comparable products to what I used in that video. And so like I said, yeah, we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison today. So if you're a returning Dollar Diva, thank you so much for coming on back for another video. You know I appreciate it very, very much. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Jessica and I'm basically a bargain makeup channel. What I mean by that is I like to do a lot of the same fun content that other makeup channels like to do. I just like to keep it in the bargain price point, so the closer to $1, the better. So if it sounds like you are in the right place, I do hope you'll become part of our Dollar Diva family here on YouTube, and I will have that full face of the cheapest drugstore makeup that I did recently down below in the description box, as well as some similar content. That way, if you are new, you can catch up on what we've been doing here, and we have quite a bit to dive into today, so without any further chit-chat, let's just go ahead and get into today's video. So I'm gonna do my right side as drugstore and my left side as Dollar Tree. So I'm gonna go in, this is the brow pencil that I used. It was the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil. This was in natural brown, and I really liked this. I really liked the color specifically. It wasn't warm at all, which sometimes with Dollar Tree eyebrow pencils, it's hard to find one that's not warm. So I really liked this shade. And of course I liked the pencil as well because it had a little bit of tug to it. I don't like when an eye pencil is too creamy. I tend to make a lot more mistakes that way. So I really liked the quality of this pencil. A lot of you all said that you really liked this pencil as well. So there we go. Of course, I will clean up my brows with concealer. And now I'll go in on the Dollar Tree side. And the closest thing I think to this shade of eye pencil is the Ivory Brow Pencil in Dahlia Brown. I feel it's a little bit of a cooler shade of brown versus their medium or dark brown or other eye pencils from LA Colors. And really that's about the only thing. As far as quality, I think the e.l.f. is about every bit, I think the LA Colors and the Ivory are every bit as good as the e.l.f. The LA Colors especially have a very similar tug. And yeah, this one here, the Dahlia Brown, which I don't see all the time, it's different than their medium. And yeah, like I said, I find that it's different than their medium or dark brown. It just seems to pull a little, it's a little bit warmer than the e.l.f., but really not much in my opinion. Brush through those, and I think we have a very similar result. So now to clean up my brows, I've got two concealers that I think are pretty comparable. For the drugstore side, I've got the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus concealer. This was in light ivory, and then I've got the Be Pure Essentially Ageless Hydrating Serum Concealer. I think this is in light, but it doesn't have the name on the packaging. So as you can see, very similar style containers. They're both, of course, on a doe foot. When I did this full face of drugstore makeup, the cheapest products, most things were under $4 after like my coupons took effect and all that kind of thing. So I'm just gonna take a flat brush and just clean up my brows. And I think the most expensive product, even without coupons, was like not even $6. I think might have been $5.99. Like I said, my total before I used my deals on my CVS card, it was $50 and some change, and then it took the total down to $40 and some change, and then I got $5 extra bucks because I bought $10 worth of Wet n Wild, and then I got a couple dollars back from my Ibotta app for that shopping trip. So for me, after tax, it cost $36 and some change. So now I'm gonna go in with the Be Pure, and I liked the PhotoFocus concealer pretty good. I don't know that I like it better necessarily than the Be Pure here. So there we go. I think we got a very comparable result. Of course, we'll use both to conceal under our eyes a little bit later. Okay, so I just added some LA Colors eye primer. I just put that on both eyes. I'm not doing a side-by-side with eyeshadow primer today. So now for eyeshadow. So for the drugstore one, I have this e.l.f. Bite Size palette. This is in Cream and Sugar, just a nice little neutral quad. And honestly, LA Colors has a couple of quads that are very similar. But I want to be able to like really duplicate the look, so like the brown is a little bit darker in the e.l.f. So I'm going to pull from some other LA Colors quads. Like I'm gonna use that dark brown there and another LA Colors quads. And then I also have an LA Colors 6-pan. This is in almost nude. So I'm gonna be pulling from some LA Colors quads and we're gonna see if we can't get a very similar neutral look. So I'm gonna do the same eye look that I did in that video. So to do that, I'm just gonna go into that lightest shade right there. And I'm gonna put that all over my lid first. And I'm gonna use the same brush. I have a new color switch now from a recent Dollar Tree haul. I have a lot of people that are saying, because I went through like 4 or 5 of these last year. They were in my makeup empties for last year. And I had a lot of people say, why don't you just wash them? And my answer to that is that I do. You can take the sponge out and dump out the shadow that ends up at the bottom, and you can wash it with soap and let it dry. But after a little while, I find that the sponge deteriorates and it gets really soft and it doesn't clean the brushes as good. I do replace them after like 3 months because I do feel that sponge deteriorates. So these 2 quads here are actually the same. This is Birthday Suit. It's from the Nude Glam collection. And then this is Bare. This is from another collection. They're the same color story. They just repackaged them. And I'm just gonna go into that, lightest shade. You could even go into the almost nude palette and go into that shade there. This is just gonna be laying down a base for our other shadows. Colors are very, very comparable. So now I'm gonna go back into the e.l.f. Bite Size and go into that dark brown shade. And we're gonna do a smoky eye. I'm gonna try not to make too big of a mess. I was very pleasantly surprised by the e.l.f. Bite Size palette. I think originally it was like $3 as well. I mean, they're just so cheap. And I think I got mine for like $2 something after my coupons when I broke it down on my receipt. So there we go. I'm gonna just, gonna take a light, like a fluffy brush and just really blend that. Really nice. So I'm gonna take that same brush, I'm gonna clean it off, and I'm gonna go into the LA Colors Just Vibin' Quad. This is in Good Time, so I'm gonna go into that dark brown shade right there. If you're new here or you don't know, LA Colors quads are of superb quality. They're really very good, and they generally come out with them in spring collections. So I know me and all my Dollar Divas were like anxiously awaiting the spring. See, there we go. We're getting a very comparable effect. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna clean off that brush that I used to blend as well and just blend that. So there we go. I think so far so good. I think the shades are really exact as well. And I'm proud to say all my brushes are clean and dry. I cleaned them yesterday. So I'm gonna go in with my little flat zebra brush and I'm gonna go into that darkest shimmer shade right there. I'm gonna really dig into that and then I'm gonna spray my brush. Put this on the middle part of my eye, going towards the center just a bit. There we go. Of course, I'm gonna clean off that brush. And I'm gonna go into the, again, you can go into either of those nude LA Colors quads. And instead of going into the darker shade, I'm actually gonna go into the lighter shade. Then I'm gonna go into one of the other quads for the lightest shade. Just trying to match the colors as good as I can. Do the same thing, spray my brush. And there we go. I'm gonna just take, that fluffy brush and just really kind of blend the edge over here and up into the crease. So now I'm gonna clean off that brush again. I'm gonna go into that lightest shade right there and pack that on the brush. Of course, spray it. I'm gonna go to the innermost part of my eye here. And there we go. Okay, so I just cleaned off my brush again. And I'm gonna go into the LA Colors 6-pan in Almost Nude and go into that lightest shimmer shade right there. Same thing, I'm just gonna pack it on the brush, spray it real good. And there we go. I think, see, the colors are very spot on as well as the quality. So we're gonna come back, of course, and finish up with the shadow a little bit later like we always do, but I'm gonna move on to lashes and liner. So I'm not gonna wear false lashes again today, and I don't have like a side-by-side product, but what I do wanna do, because I said I would do this when I did that other video, I wanna test the Essence Volume Booster Lash Primer with a not so great Dollar Tree mascara. So I'm just gonna do that on both eyes, because it seemed to really help. I did use it on one eye and not the other, and it really seemed to make a big difference last time. So I'm gonna see how, but I used one of my better Dollar Tree mascaras. So I'm gonna test it with one that I don't like as much. So of course I love the Essence Lash Princess mascara, but at my CVS, the day I made this haul, my mascara was all picked through at my store. So I was like, I'll just try something different. So I was like, let me just try this primer. There we go, it's like a white primer, it makes your lashes white. I had a tip from a Dollar Diva that she uses it under her colored mascara to make the colors more vibrant. Okay, so we're just gonna let that dry. And while I let that dry, I'm gonna use liquid liner. So on my drugstore side, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this Wet n Wild Pro Line Felt Tip Eyeliner. This is in the shade, this is in the shade dark brown. And I liked this pretty good. Of course, dark brown is a nice, it's much softer effect than black. And on my Dollar Tree side, I'm gonna go ahead with this LA Colors liquid liner. This is also in brown. And this isn't a felt tip, but it's a little bit more of that brush applicator. My left eye is always harder for me to do. So I think the LA Colors is just a little bit of a, you can see the difference. This here is a little bit more of a dark, kind of a cooler brown, and you can see this looks a little bit more warm, a little bit lighter and a little bit more of a warm brown. We'll end up balancing it out with eyeshadow, but really LA Colors makes a really good felt tip eyeliner and a really nice brush applicator as well. Okay, so now that this is dried, I'm gonna go in with that Beauty Intuition mascara, and I'm gonna see if this makes me feel any better about Dollar Tree mascara. This mascara doesn't generally really do much for my eyelashes. Of course, I've only got one coat on. I'm gonna add another coat. I feel like it did help a little bit though. I mean, it's still not gonna be as good as like the Essence mascara, a couple coats of that, but I definitely feel it's a little bit better than normal. So we'll come back to the eyes. I'll add another coat of mascara. We'll add some finishing touches, but I'm gonna move on to the face. So I really liked this, and the shade was absolutely perfect for my skin. I've got the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus foundation. Mine is in bronze beige for my drugstore side, and I'm gonna be comparing it to the Candy Moyo moisturizing foundation in medium. So let me see, let me first put them on my face and see how the colors compare. Of course, the Wet n Wild, you're gonna end up having more shade range, so there's that. Colors are very comparable, y'all. I had a feeling they might be. Look at that. I guess if you're about my skin tone, for Wet n Wild, you want bronze beige, and medium for the Candy Moyo. So I'm just gonna start going in on the drugstore side. Really, really nice foundation. I know there's some of you all that don't really care for it, but you know, skin needs, whether it's skincare or like complexion products, it's such a personal thing. Skin is so different. You know, even if you have dry skin, even if two people have dry skin, the skin might not behave the same way. So I'm gonna go in on the other side with the Candy Moyo. I'm gonna add a little bit more of the Candy Moyo. I do feel like you get a little bit better coverage with, since they're side by side, I can see that I think you get better coverage for sure with the Wet n Wild, but you can build up the Candy Moyo. I would say that the Candy Moyo has a little bit of a dewier finish than the Wet n Wild, and the Wet n Wild has a little bit better coverage, I would say, since I'm comparing them side by side. But if you weren't though, it'd be really hard to tell the difference. So now we're gonna go in with concealer. So of course on my drugstore side, I'm gonna go back in with that Wet n Wild PhotoFocus, and I'm gonna do the Be Pure on my Dollar Tree side. Let me use my concealer brush. I'm gonna kind of clean off my brush just a little bit just to get the excess product off. And I'm gonna go in to the Dollar Tree side here. So there we go. I feel like they're actually pretty comparable. I don't notice like a super huge difference between the two. The Wet n Wild might cover up just a tad better. Either that or it's a little bit brighter, one of the two. So before we move on to the rest of the face products, I'm gonna add another coat of mascara and I will be right back. Okay, so I added another coat, and yeah, I think the Lash primer plus 2 coats of even a not so great Dollar Tree mascara definitely helps. Like in a pinch, it really, I could wear this mascara and feel good about it. And I really don't, I say it all the time, I don't have the best lashes. So now I'm gonna move on to setting powder, and I didn't have something super close in Dollar Tree. I just did the best I could. So for e.l.f., I've got the Prime and Stay Finishing Powder in Sheer. And then for my Dollar Tree side, I've got the Be Pure Essentially Ageless in Translucent. So we're gonna see how these do. And I'm gonna just use this really clean cotton round. That way I'll use 1/2 for the e.l.f. and the other half for the Be Pure. I'm just gonna put this under my eye. Kind of do a little bit of like a baking action. Now I'm going to do the other side with the Be Pure. Of course, the Be Pure has a little bit more of that whitening effect. So I'm going to brush them both away. So Dollar Tree translucent powders tend to be very, very like white. But as you can see, it kind of brushes away, and it actually looks now very similar to the e.l.f. side. You just got to work with it a little bit more to not have it be so white. You know what I mean? So I'm going to take a little bit of that e.l.f. powder and just set the rest of my makeup down. Then I'm kind of wiping off my brush on my color switch a bit to get as much makeup off, and on a towel just to get it as clean as I can. Take a little bit of that translucent and brush the other side. So there we go. It's very similar. Like I said, it's definitely a lot more of a white cast on the Dollar Tree side, but still fairly comparable, I would say. So now bronzer. So for the drugstore side, I really like this bronzer. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer in What Shady Beaches. And I will swatch this so you can see kind of what we're dealing with here. Then I've got the LA Colors bronzer. This is in bronze. And I felt like these were the two closest matches I had. So that's the Wet n Wild, and then that is the LA Colors. And even though, you know, you can see some slight differences, there's a little bit of shimmer, a little bit more shimmer in the LA Colors one, but not too much. The What Shady Beaches, I think, has a little hint of shimmer in it. We're going to end up with a similar effect once it's on the skin. Okay, so I get two brushes here, so I can use one with one and one with the other. I'm just going to go into the Wet n Wild. So there we go, a nice bronze effect there. Then I'm going to go with my other brush into the LA Colors. Now that they're on the skin, they look very, very, very similar. You really wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I think I went a little heavier on my Dollar Tree side. So I'm going to just even that out. So there we go. See, I think it's a very, very, very similar effect. Now for blush. So for my drugstore side, I've got the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush in Mellow Wine. And then I thought this was pretty comparable. This is the Be Pure Essentially Ageless Luminizing Blush. It's not shimmery. I don't know why they call it that. But I don't know what shade this is. They don't have anything on their packaging. But they're very, very, very similar. I'll swatch them side by side. Very similar shades, very similar finishes. This is the Wet n Wild, and that is the Be Pure. So I'm going to use the same brushes that I used for the bronzer. I kind of wiped them off, and a little bit of bronzer is not going to hurt. So I'm going to try to go with a good light hand into the Wet n Wild. A little bit of blush. It's so easy to go overboard. I'm going to stop there. Now I'm going to go into the Be Pure. There is the drugstore side, and there is the Dollar Tree side. So very, very nice, very, very comparable shades and finish. So now for highlighter. So I had established in my, when I did the full face of CVS makeup, that this is actually a pretty spot-on dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape Glow Powder. It's not a super metallic highlighter, but it just gives like a nice lit from within glow. This is the Highlighter Luminous Glow in Staggering from Essence. And then I'm going to go in with the LA Colors highlight. This is in Glow Time. They're not exactly the same. That right there is the Essence, and that right there is the LA Colors. So again, not super exact, but similar enough to get an effect. So I got a clean highlighter brush here. I'm going to go into the Essence first. Like I said, this is a beautiful kind of lit from within type of a glow. See that very, like, no chunky glitter. That's a beautiful highlighter, especially if you're like a little afraid of like looking too glittery or shiny. Now this one here, you do have to kind of go with a light hand. This one's going to be a little bit more intense. So to get a similar effect, we have to go a little bit more gentle with this one. So there we go. There is the LA Colors, and there is the Essence. So very, very similar effects. I don't think you can really tell a huge difference between the two sides of my face. So now we're going back to the eyes. I'm gonna line my waterline with some pencil liner. For the drugstore side, I've got the Essence Kajal eyeliner pencil. This is in Teddy, it's basically a dark brown. And I'm gonna put it up against the LA Colors eyeliner and brow pencil in one. This is in dark brown. So this worked pretty good in my experience in the waterline, just to get a good little bit of definition. There we go. Works pretty good. Not the best liner in the world, but then this won't be the best eyeliner in the world either, but it will get the job done. Actually, it's doing very good. I think it's actually doing better than their retractable pencils. There we go. I think we got a really great effect, and I think the color is actually very spot on. You would not know the difference. So now we're going to finish up some details with more eyeshadow. So I'm going to go in with an inner corner highlight, of course. So I'm going to take a tapered brush, and I'm going to go into that lightest shimmer shade right there. I'm just going to dig that brush in. Then, of course, I'm going to spray with setting spray. I have a lot of people ask me what I spray my brushes with. Setting spray, and just any kind. I just use any kind. There we go, just a little inner corner highlight. I'm going to clean off that same brush, and I'm going to go back into that LA Colors 6 pan and go into that shade right there. And there we go. I think they both did a very comparable job. So I'm going to smoke it underneath as well, and I'm going to go into the dark brown shade to do that. So I'm just going to use this kind of compact brush here, and I'm going to go into that, and I'm going to tap the brush off to not make a mess. And I'm going to smoke out under my eye a bit. And then I'm going to clean off that brush, of course. Then I'm going to go into the Just Vibe and Quad and go into that darkest shade there and do the same thing on my other eye. I went a little heavy-handed on my other eye, so I have to try to make them match as good as I can. Okay, now I'm going to do an under the brow bone highlight. So drugstore side, I'm going to go into that lightest shade there. Just pop that underneath my brow bone. Brush out my eyebrow because it's looking a little dusty. Okay, so the eyes are done. I think we definitely got a very, very similar effect on the face and the eyes. Now we're going to move on to lips. Now this is where it might vary some because I don't really have a good exact match for Dollar Tree. So what I used for my drugstore side was this Wet n Wild gel lip liner. This was in the shade Lay Down the Mauves, and it's a really nice shade of lip pencil. And then for lipstick, I just got one of those old school Wet n Wild lipsticks. This is in dark pink Frost. And then my Dollar Tree side, the closest thing that I had was this Ione lip pencil. This is in Mombasa Spice. And then this LA Colors lip gloss. This is a newer shade that they've come out with. This is in Bliss. So hopefully it'll be similar enough. Generally, Dollar Tree can leave a lot to be desired for me with lip pencils. I generally find LA Colors doesn't usually have a shade that I like at Dollar Tree. So usually I tend to reach for Ione. That's actually very similar. I really didn't think it would be as similar as it is. It's actually more similar on the lips than like in a swatch on my hand. That's really very, very similar. Almost undetectable. So on drugstore side, I'm going to go in with this lipstick. And I ended up really liking this frosted lipstick. I wore frosted lipstick in high school, and yeah, I think the frosted lipstick should come back this year. Everything else has. Then I'm going on the other side with this gloss. So obviously, you know, I get a gloss on one side and a frosted lipstick on the other, but honestly, they're not so different that it's super crazy. I'm actually very pleasantly surprised. So yeah, so we get drugstore, and we've got Dollar Tree. I think to look at me, you wouldn't know that I was wearing two completely different sets of makeup. So I do enjoy doing these videos. Like I said, I'll do one with the drugstore makeup and high-end makeup. And yeah, I will have my recent one where I did Dollar Tree makeup and high-end makeup. I'll have that link down below, as well as some other content. Definitely check out some of my other content now that you're done watching this video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, show me what you did by hitting the like button and let me know your thoughts. You know I love talking to you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.